Ubisoft has revealed its post-launch plans for Assassin's Creed Shadows and a detailed roadmap for all of its content, and there is so much to talk about, including New Game Plus, free story quests, activities and additional allies, parkour and photo mode updates that include highly requested features, some mysterious collaborations, some confusing comments about the upcoming Animus content, and way more. So let's not wait any longer and let's dive into all the news about the post-launch content of Assassin's Creed Shadows. So yeah, finally Ubisoft has announced its post-launch plans for Assassin's Creed Shadows with a new trailer featuring devs discussing the new features, a new article and 2 promotional pictures dedicated to the Year 1 roadmap, with a lot of content planned from early May, that's in a few days, to at least this summer and beyond. And we start with what the teams call free story drops, that is free quests, which will also include new abilities, new world activities and new allies, and some of these additional stories will be focused on some known and familiar characters from the main game in order to flesh out their stories. In the article and in the roadmap pictures, it is stated that the story drops will be expanding on the main game and they will permanently impact the game, which is very interesting, as we'll see that in this post-launch announcement it is stressed multiple times that the story drops, including the first expansion, will build up on each other and impact the story permanently, and I guess that is in comparison with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where every story beat of the post-launch content did not seem to take into consideration any of the previously released ones. So the first story drop for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is going to release in early May, will be called The Works of Louis Frois, and will thus be focused on Louis Frois, the Jesuit missionary that is on Yasuke's side during the main story of the game, and even pronounces one of the few references to the established lore in the main game, mentioning the House of Borgia and how it was brought down by Ezio Auditore and the Assassins. The team also announced the second story drop releasing in June. That too will be a free quest, and while we don't know much about it, we can see this picture featuring Naue and Yagoro, and we also already know that the quest will provide a new ally for our league. Moving on, the team mentioned that it will continue putting out title updates adding meaningful changes to the game based on the team's development plan and the community's feedback on the game, along with bug fixes of course, much as it happened with the updates that have been released up until now. For example, again in early May, players can expect some codex updates, which I'd imagine are going to be new entries based on what we're seeing in the Louis Frois quest, and also some quality of life improvements. But to get to some more juicy additions, the team has announced 3 updates for parkour that are going to release in late May, and they are going to be the height gaining back ejects and the fully reanimated side ejects, and thanks for saying that they are both height gaining, and also the new vertical ledge jumps that are triggered when the parkour up wall run is not available. And while the team is right in saying that these are highly requested features and I can't wait to test them, I definitely feel like these should have been in the game from the start, much like they should have been at launch for Assassin's Creed Mirage at the time. Still, in the article the team is saying that even more parkour tricks and improvements are going to be added over the course of the year, so I think we can say the dev team is on the right track. Along with the parkour update in late May, Shadows will also receive a pretty big photo mode update, and here the trailer did help show the various additions. For example, there are going to be new filters, new poses for both Naue and Yasuke, new face expressions, new frames to the pictures themselves, and also the addition of background ambient music to listen to while you're preparing your perfect shot. But that's definitely not all, because I am shocked it was not outright mentioned, but finally after so many years it looks like time of day will be added to the photo mode, and this is going to be game changing for photo mode in Assassin's Creed, much like it has been already for games like Horizon Forbidden West and Ghost of Tsushima, as this feature will allow players to change the time of day while they're taking their picture, moving from dawn to night, which of course will change the lighting and colors and atmosphere of the picture, and it looks like you can change the time of day to the minute, so I really can't wait to test that. The next major gameplay related update will release in June, and it will involve new options that will push player immersion, such as removing individually effects such as the glints on weapons during combat that allow us to understand what kind of attack is coming to us, the assassination celebration effects, the black and white ability filters, and even the white outline that tells us when we are full incognito during stealth sessions. On the same set of updates planned for June, players will also see an expansion of the alarm system that for now has always been contained to the castle locations and will now be actually extended to the open world, and also they will find the always coveted option to keep the character's headgear in dialogues and cutscenes, which I'm sure will make a lot of fans happy. And lastly, still planned for June, the team has also announced a new difficulty setting for both combat and stealth, which will definitely attract hardcore players back to the game. Also, and this is something that fans have been asking for every day, the team finally announced that beyond June, they are going to release a fleshed out New Game Plus mode for the game, where players are going to be able to restart the game with all the gear and abilities and stats that they have from their latest save, and this version of New Game Plus, in order to keep the progression intact, is going to significantly raise the level cap of the game. Beyond June, players can also of course expect the already announced first expansion for the game called Claws of Awaji, which will be available later in 2025 and will be free for all the players that have already pre-ordered the game. As it had already been announced, the DLC will open up a new map that is the island of Awaji, and the story will be set after the ending and epilogues of the main game, which, like I said, is quite refreshing, as it does seem that finally the various story beats, including the DLC, will have a defined timeline where previous events have an impact on what comes next. I know, this is a really basic expectation, but Valhalla's post-launch, so you know. Plus, according to the leaks, this may really continue and follow up on some of the main story threads left up hanging at the end of the game, so this does have my full attention moving forward. As it has already been announced, the DLC will provide new enemy types, new abilities, and the new bow weapon for Naue for a total of 10 hours of content, so this will truly be the first main expansion of the game to look forward to. In a different dedicated spot of the roadmap that seems to be beyond June, or however seems to not have a specific time frame, the team placed even more updates, which include the New Game Plus that we already mentioned, as well as new community related updates and story drops, but at the same time they also added extra content such as the mysterious special collaborations that are actually going to start in late May but are going to continue beyond June and that we really don't know much about. The devs are keeping a mystery surrounding this, but my guess is that these could be in-game collaborations with other brands like the Final Fantasy XV collaboration with Assassin's Creed Origins. Among other extra content planned beyond June, players can expect new codex updates, new rewards, new store drops, the Claws of Awaji expansion like we mentioned, and especially the Animus content, and at this point it's not really clear when and how the Animus content and especially the new projects and related rewards and modern day files are going to release. For example, in one of the roadmap pictures, the projects and rewards are placed beside the Claws of Awaji DLC, hinting at them releasing alongside it or potentially being available only if you buy it. But also in the second roadmap picture they are labeled as content to come, hinting that they might not be available neither in May nor in June, but at the same time, in the trailer, Associate Game Director Simon Lemay-Comtois states that until the content drops of May and June, players can still track down the Animus anomalies in Japan, complete projects and get rewards in the exchange, but I wonder if he meant the current Animus content, because eventually he also states that players can expect new Animus content this summer, and considering that Shadows really had a bare-bone modern-day experience, and that was justified by the fact that its story would have been developed much more during post-launch, it would feel very weird to have almost 2 months without even text files. So there it is, this is the full and detailed year 1, or should I say summer of year 1 post-launch roadmap for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and of course these updates and timings are subject to change, but there's definitely a lot of features to look forward to, some that should have been in the game at launch, some that are really cementing Ubisoft Quebec and the studios working with them as the masters of post-launch engagement, and I definitely can't wait to test all of these new features, especially with you guys during our live streams, very much as we did with the latest major update for Shadows. That stream really was quite something. Thank you for watching, a huge thanks to all of our ATA insiders and initiates for their amazing support, and I'll see you all in our next video.